So this is the plan. The studio is going to be Do you know what? It's been, what time is it now? It's 11:15. 11:15. It is Saturday. And I'm only just getting going. What I have got today is I've got part of the stuff that I'm waiting for. So I can't finish off the roof just yet anyway. So I do have a lot of little jobs to do around the build while I'm waiting for the rest of the stuff to come. I've had these rock up. Now these are the Baz clips or Baz washers, and the idea of these is that if I open them up, beauty. Idea is these will screw in over the washer, and then you see that, so that creates a rubberized seal against the screw head, and then these washers, they'll be in place to just provide a little bit of pressure. It's not to be able to yank these up, because these actually have to drill on top of, you know how you've got the corrugations and the corrugated metal, they need to sit on top of one of the corrugations. If they sit on the top, there's little water ingress likely. Of course, if you drill on the bottom, where it kind of would seem logical to actually put these, because you're on the flat bit, so you could really yank them up. But if you put them on the base of the corrugation, that of course is where all the water will actually flow down. So I'm glad that those have come. Other things that I've been working on whilst I've been waiting is doors. I had originally planned to use this as the entrance door into the studio, but then thinking about it and looking at this door, this is an internal door, so it's way too thin, both in terms of the actual frame structure itself, but also this paneling here. So the paneling here is probably what, only, I don't know, maybe 4 mil thickness. Really not enough to provide any sort of insulation out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the internal door, and I'm going to use this as the internal door when I frame out and create the toilet and area over there. So what I've been doing yesterday was taking the look of this and sanding it back to look like this. I'm going to do a bit of finishing off because I'm not 100% happy. There's a couple of bits and bobs down here, for example, that I need to work on. There was a lock on here, so I've got to find some of the replacement springs to be able to fix that lock so I can remount it on here. It's only going to be used for a bit of privacy on the toilet, so it doesn't really matter so much, but we'll get that fitted back on. So what I might do is a bit of carrying on with the sanding today, finish off putting the Tyvek up on the outside, get that in place. Once I've got the Tyvek in place, what I'm able to do then is I can actually start doing the cedar. So we'll see how we go, but lots of bitty jobs today, lots of bitty jobs. It doesn't feel like you're getting major progress, not like when you're putting the massive sheets up and it goes up really quickly. But it's all stuff that's got to be done, isn't it? So let's crack on and do it. I'm going to use 3 different sanding methods on this today, and I think, I've got a bit of moulding on here that I'm going to have to take off. I didn't have that on the other side. There's also a bit of metal plate. Let me show you what we've got. So it looks like this is the door handle. It's quite a nice feature on it. So we'll try and preserve that. It has got a bit of a crack in it already. It looks like somebody's yanked down too tightly. And then this one, there's a bit of a feature around the door lock. Now originally this was a piece of wood that swung over the lock. I've got that, but this is all bent and somebody's obviously knocked it off in the past. We'll see what we can do to be able to get that straightened up. Looks like it's held in with a couple of screws in there, a couple of screws in there. We'll get those off first of all, and then we'll get the door sanded back. 100 years this could have been in place. it's a very, very old door, then we might end up with a seized screw, but we'll try. Oh yes, now that one's coming out dead easy. This is the pin holder. As you can see, it's like been knocked at the back. I'll have a play with that, see what I can do to straighten it up. I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. So these are the three that I'm going to use. Meneate band sander. Now this is a beast, and this, if used too harshly, will just take the wood away and strip it down, no time at all. And to finish off into the panels and into the corners, sort of a palm vibrating sander. I'll be using the Dremel to get into the mouldings. So I'm hoping that we can get all of the black. It's like, it's odd, it feels like there's a black tar on it. I don't know whether that's a mould thing that's happened or whether it has got some stuff on the door or what it is, but we'll work through with each of these three and see what I can do to get them back. There's a lot of areas where the grain runs in one direction and then changes, so it's at perpendicular angles. So what I'm trying to aim for is the strips across the centre will be the first ones, and those, when I finish the sanding, there'll be a little bit of oversand that will go into these areas. The next will be these panels, so these three, doesn't really matter which of the sequence, as long as they're done next, and then finally finishing off the outsides runs or the outside frame. That way I can actually sand off, using this belt sander, the overrun that I get from each of those frames by doing that sequence. So that's what we're going for. Not bad, not bad. Now, it's the outside pieces. Coming on, man. Coming on. One side to go. That's not too bad, is it? You can see with the panels inside the contrast for what it was to what it's become from sanding. Okie dokie. So I sanded away with those three, and I remembered I've got another tool, and I was struggling to get into the detail in the corners of the mouldings. So I've gone in and I've got the multi-tool from DeWalt. So I banged a battery on that. This has got an Aruba head on it. I did have a DeWalt one, but I abused it so much that I wore it down in the corners. And they were so much more expensive, and I've got a bunch of Aruba pads. So I thought, I'll just get an Aruba head. So I've got that on, the DeWalt multi-tool, and the difference getting into the corners. Just have a look at this. Just the inside mouldings to go. Cool things about using the Dremel is if you use it in a consistent way around the door, each of the heads, these brush heads, they're like fibres. If you hold them in the same spot, see how it's formed the shape of the door? So when you're holding it in the same spot all the time, it actually fits the mouldings perfectly. It's quite cool. Nearly done now. Then I can just scoot round the edges and then the door will be ready for the hardware to go back on it. So this is the disc. The idea is I can use this to get right in the edges. But the last bits of painting rubbish that are done now out. Spin off the old disc, fit the new. Right, let's get the edges sorted, and then they'll be ready for fitting. Well, when I say ready for fitting, the door may well be ready for fitting. However, there isn't yet a wall for it to be fitted to, let alone a door frame. So this is all like getting ready for later down the line. Sort of pre-work, I should say. It's all got to be done at some point. May as well crack on with it now while I'm waiting for the bits of the bobs of the roof to come before I can finish that off. It's got to be said, the colours that you get out of the antique doors, way better than the new ones. So that is looking good, man. I'll give it a quick whiz over with this, and then we're done. Ah, look at that. It's never going to stay there. Try that there. That is pretty awesome. Can't wait to get it in place now, get it fitted. But as I say, got to build a wall first. Call for cats. Next thing on my list, top line of Tyvek and doing the front. Need to get those sorted. So here we go then. This is the new and improved Tyvek disc spinners. For this one, I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a massive sale. Well, hey, it's working. So far, so good. Right until the point it wasn't. Right, you're not safe to be here. Come on, back you go. Duds, you're really not safe, mate. I wouldn't stuck around here. Run free while you can. Away now, away. Come on, come on. All right. So it's only when you see this paper from the other side, you can kind of see what's going on. There's loads of fibres going through the paper. So this is why it's not actually paper, it's some kind of poly-based product that's waterproof. I guess this is why all these fibres and the way it's done, the way it's compressed. I guess this is why DuPont can charge so freaking much for this paper. Clever stuff, man, clever stuff. So now, just need to get the opening cut and get this stapled up at the sides. I start at the corners and go 45 degrees in. But I've got enough to form an overlap. Now I can fold back each of the corners without it stressing on the far side. So what I'm trying to achieve with this is I'm trying to get the paper. If I've got this, all of the wood protected from the elements by this paper, then it's going to keep it all as dry as possible and hopefully preserve it for a long amount of time. I do the same with this surround. I have done the same already on the bottom. What I'm going to do with the bottom bits, with these open corners, because this is where I think this is going to be the most likely water ingress point. I'm actually going to put another layer of this over the top. I'm going to then tape that in so that there's no openings at all. And that should then stop any water getting into this wood. There is going to be a kickboard, a step, and that's going to be hardwood that will sit on top of this paper. The door will be mounted on top of that itself. I'm not fitting a surround frame for the door. I'm just going to use these where I'm going to have door is just double those up, and then those are nailed together with the ring shanks, so they're doubled up all the way through. So it should be, you know, it's not going to go anywhere, doubly strong. Because I don't really fancy cutting into those and then cutting through the ring shanks to try and then bury a frame in place. Same thing for this window. I might do the window a little bit differently. I'm not 100% decided yet, but the window is going to be so big. There's going to be quite a chance of, you know, is there going to be quite a chance? I'm thinking through now out loud. Because of the overhang, there's not going to be as much risk of the water hitting the front of this building and then running into the cladding that I'm going to have on there. And that, because that window is going to be fixed, it's not opening at all. So the only openings are going to be front door, the back patio doors. I've got to work out how to do fix the Velux windows into the roof. So coming on. So yeah, so let's get finished tacking this paper in place here. I'll do the same on the front, then we can fit the front sheet, cut that in, and then I've got a piece down the side to go. Then I think I'm good. It's not a bad day today. After all, it still feels a bit like it's a bit bitter, you know what I mean? It's a bit not substantial change, but it's those little things that have to be sorted. I'm thinking about the way that the window is going to be seated in, and I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can find some old inner tubes, and I'm going to use that as a rubber base for the window to sit in, be watertight. Door, that's looking good. That does look good. That's going to be awesome. Got to get hold of the other door, so I'm going to wait until I've got the actual door before I start trying to frame that up. I've got a couple of the framing pieces together there. I want to do the same on the opposite side of the door so that it can swing to the sink that's going to be there. Depends on what I get and how big the door is. I think I found one from a guy who bought a door back from his holiday in Indonesia. I mean, most people go to duty free and at airport, but this guy, no excess baggage, he's bought back a door because it was a good price. And it's ended up that he hasn't used the door. So I've got to hear what that story is about. Hopefully he's back tomorrow and we can go and get that sorted and collected and go for it. But that's it. That's it for today. Getting there. We're certainly getting there. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to do tomorrow. Now that we've got all the Tyvek in place, I've got a bunch of drainage that I've got to get sorted. I've got to get the blocking in on the side as the support wall. I've got to get the cement in of the path, get that back in. So I might have a go. I might try some bricklaying tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, that's it. That's the end of the day for today. My name's Rich, and this is It's Adventure. I hope to see you again very soon. So click on that subscribe button and click on that bell and you'll be notified the next time I release a video. But for now, see you later.